Oh my God! I haven't heard that since the pandemic. Oh,
Oh, man. This is a great Sunday. It's Patrick,
oh my God!
Bobby, and Joey here today. And I'm jacked up. That just got me pumped up.
My heart's racing on my chest right now.
Hey, you're not the
Holy
one who
freak.
had
That
to
is
do it.
the
Oh,
original Joe Reacts YouTube channel intro. And oh, I'm like jittery now.
I'm shaking.
I'm shaking.
Oh God!
If you are driving and listening to this podcast, I really hope that you guys did not get into an accident
And if it
because
did,
I
you're
almost
not at
fell off my
fault.
chair.
I know.
Yeah, and we did. We're not at fault.
Disclaimer.
So today we are breaking down the AFC and the NFC South divisions. But first, we have some news to get to. Hot off the presses, we have Nick Chubb cleared the concussion protocol today, which is great. After that, it's Theo Riddick signs with the Raiders, giving them a little more depth. I don't see that hurting Josh Jacobs at all. Then we got N'Keal Harry returns to practice from undisclosed issues, still working on trying to get what those issues were, if it was injury or personal matters. And then Allen Robinson is dealing with an ankle injury. We don't know the extent of this injury yet. We will be working on it and get it to you guys in the next show. But you guys have anything else? Y'all have anything you need to get out?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I do.
Oh man.
So I went shopping with the wife yesterday, and she bought this seltzer pina colada thing. I don't like seltzer. That stuff is good.
What brand is it?
I couldn't tell you. But that was the best seltzer thing I've ever had. Zero
See?
calories.
You see?
0 calories, man. 2020 health run.
Got to that keto done. That keto
That-
diet. Huh?
Keto. Got to be careful of that quarantine 15. All right, but let's jump over here into the AFC side of things. We are going to do the Indianapolis Colts first. I think I'll lead off as soon as I find my notes. Okay, I am good to go. I'm going to lead off with the quarterbacks. We got Phillip Rivers coming into town as a new quarterback for the Colts. Jacoby Brissett's going to take a little sit down here, and I think he'll have a good season this year. He's going to be a serviceable quarterback for your team. He's a late round quarterback, giving you the chance to maximize your wide receivers and running backs throughout your draft. He has an ADP of round 14, pick 2, which is pretty nice. You're getting him very, very late, and he does give you, top 12 upside at the quarterback position. I don't see him being your real, true, starting quarterback every week unless he's just lights out Rivers. But you'll probably move around, look at the waiver wire to see if you can get a better matchup when you have Phillip Rivers on your team. But other than that, he's going to be serviceable for you. You guys have anything else on Phillip Rivers?
No, I mean, I think the only thing that really concerns me about him is pretty much the age.
If he still got it.
38 years old. I mean, I know they say that he acts like a sixth grader, wanting to play football for the first time, but I don't know. I think at some point your body's going to give out on you. And we
I
just got to
think
see
he
where
still
it
has
goes.
a couple more, though. I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 years left before it's gone, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just don't know if you say he has 1 to 2 years left, if something might happen starting now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, feels. Let's go ahead and we'll go jump into the running back here.
Well, running backs, on Marlon Mack, he's obviously going to start this year, and it's just because of the performance he had last year. Over 1,000 rushing yards with ATDs. This year, though, is going to be different. He does have to split time with Jonathan Taylor. So that's going to hurt his numbers a little bit. Obviously, Colts are going to be riding the hot hand each week. So depending on who does better is pretty much going to see more carries. But if you are in a dynasty league, he might be a good pickup. Just because this is his last contract year with the Colts. And we don't know what's going to happen. He might go somewhere where the team's going to utilize him a little more.
Yeah,
You guys got anything else on Mac?
I like it.
No, I like that take. I mean, I think Jonathan Taylor is more of the value there.
I mean, he's
going
definitely
around
going to
later.
be. I definitely feel like he's going to get more snaps this year. I mean, like I said, they're going to be splitting time. It's just going to be the fact of when Taylor gets the ball, have that chance to kind of show out and put up those numbers, and then if he does put up those numbers, you don't even know how long they're going to keep him starting. You know what I mean? So Jonathan Taylor might be a long starter, and Mac will then not see anything.
Yeah, that's true. So there is a little bit of risk built into Mac in that sense. That's why I would rather take Taylor, because Taylor has some risk to him, but you're also getting more of an upside play with Taylor there because you're taking him around later, so you can get that wide receiver or another running back in place of Mac. So I like the take. Good take.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Colts having a really good offensive line, either way, I mean, I think Taylor and Mac are... I think Taylor more than Mac is going to produce better numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Max already played a couple seasons, and he's been okay. But as far as the other running back goes, I'm trying to pull up his name right now. Give me 1 second. Jonathan
Taylor.
Yeah, that dude right there. He's still a rookie, so we don't know where his ceiling is at. So it's going to be a very good season to see for him.
Yeah, be
I
very
agree.
interesting. We'll jump into the tight ends here now. We got a combination here, Trey Burton and Jack Doyle. I don't really like these options here, but if I had to grab one, I'd probably go with Trey Burton. He's a little more athletic, and then he's free in drafts. He was a bust in Chicago, but I do feel he will be a lot better in Indiana. The truth is here, though, that these guys are not going to be every week starters. You will be playing the waiver wire with Trey Burton and Jack Doyle. So don't look at them and say, oh, I got my tight end. That's not the case with these two guys. They're going to be rough. I mean, there's going to be weeks where you're like, oh, I wish I played him. And then there's going to be weeks where you're like, I wish I did not play him. And I think they could really hurt you because I do like the wide receiver core here. And I like the running back room over here in Indiana.
India.
But I mean, they'll have value there because historically, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates aspect, Hunter Henry aspect, he threw the ball to them. So could you see like a Jack Doyle or Trey Burton get a couple touchdowns or have like a week here and there? Yeah, but ultimately, I don't see that happening with this team. I think they want to run the ball, play good defense.
I mean, I agree with you, 100%. Like you said, I feel like they have a lot of different places they can go with the ball rather than tight ends. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, and then you got the wide receiver core that they have too. You don't really know how much work their tight ends are going to be getting this year.
Yeah, I mean, none of them have ever finished. I think Jack Doyle's finished top 5 once in his career, and that was 6 years ago. I mean, you're not getting much from them. Historically, you haven't seen anything from them, really, besides, start here and there. They can get you a start in a pinch,
Definitely.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
All right, since we're all in agreement, let's go ahead and jump into the wide receivers, Bobby.
Oh boy, for the wide receivers, they are low-key kind of stacked on wide receivers, which I'm very surprised about. T.Y. He's getting up there. He's 30 now, but he's being taken in the 4th round. He did have an off year last year due to injury, only playing 10 games, but he still hauled in 5 touchdowns, which is not too bad. As far as T.Y. is concerned, though, I think in the 4th round, he's taken a little high. I like to see like a DK Metcalf or even an OBJ. Even OBJ later on that round. So personally, he's decent for me, but actually going on to their second wide receiver, Paris Campbell, not bad. Not a bad little wide receiver. Rivers actually goes down the middle a little bit more from his career, and he could be a definite candidate for sleeper of the year. What do you guys think about that?
I think you should tell the truth on what you were saying about T.Y. Hilton. You hate him. You called him a bust. Don't sugarcoat it to these people. You called him a bust.
I can't. Okay, he is a bust. To me, Ty already has had his time, and he's not going to get any better. We've seen his ceiling. He's only going to regress from here on out. So as far as being taken into fourth, he's too high. Way, way too high. So, I mean, going back to Campbell, his current ADP is in 13th, which is pretty freaking good for a potential wide receiver who might be the Colts' go-to if Ty does go down again. So who knows? He does have comparisons to be a bigger, healthier, and faster version of Ty, which could be really dangerous. And if he could stay healthy, that would be a really, really good thing for him, as he only played 7 games last year. Their other wide receiver, Michael Pittman, nothing can really be said about him, being taken in the 14th. He's a solid receiver as far as build. He is
6'4", big boy.
Oh, he is. He's thick. He is thick with 2 C's, maybe even 3 C's. Who knows? We'll find out this year.
I prefer the K's.
The K's? Nah, I go with the C's. Thicker than a Snicker. I love me some Snickers. But I like Snickers. I'm a thick boy too. But if Ty does get hurt again, then you can see some solid playing time out of Michael Pittman as well.
I agree.
I mean, I want to kind of go back to that T.Y. Hilton spot with Bobby saying he's a bust. I mean, you don't think that with Phillip Rivers coming in as like the new QB for Indianapolis, that he's not going to think, T.Y. Hilton's going to be one of my guys that I can throw to, and I know that when I throw to him, he's going to catch the ball and get me the yards I need?
No, I really don't, because again, like I said, we've already seen his ceiling, and he's not going to do any better than what he's done in the previous years. He's only going to either get hurt again, or he has other options, younger options out there that he's going to go to and target more. He's actually known, again, for being a slot quarterback that's going to throw the football to a slot receiver, which that is what Paris Campbell is known for. He's known for being a slot wide receiver. So he's going to see him more instead of hitting Ty on the outside. That's why I think Paris Campbell might be a better pickup than Ty. I mean, if Ty's there in the later rounds, go for it. But I'm just not too high on him.
All right.
Very interesting. But Bobby,
what?
T.Y. Hilton was the number 5 wide receiver in PPR format in 2016.
Oh,
in 2018, he was number 14.
Good for him. I'm happy for him. Local guy at a FIU. That's good for him. But again, I just don't see it. I don't see where him being taken into 4th is a very smart move for people.
I can see that. Is it more of the injury risk built into him?
Is it injury? It's injury risk, and of course his age. You're talking about 2 other wide receivers: Paris Campbell, 23, Michael Pittman, 22. These guys could be young studs, especially for Phillip Rivers, who's already going to be into his later of his season now of his career. So why go on a guy who's already older as well? Go for the young guys who can actually put up some pretty good numbers. Go for those dudes instead of actually going for a Ty, who he's already in the later part of his career.
So what? You're an ageist?
I am. Once you're past 30, you're old. Sorry, people. It's just the way it is.
But T.Y. Hilton is 30.
Exactly. So he's old. You see where I'm coming from?
He said past 30.
He's 30. Once you hit 30, you're old. Okay, my bad. I will take back my previous statement. I regress. I'll take my previous statement. Once you hit 30, you're old. Anything above that, you're old. 30 is old. I'm sticking out 30 is old. I got 2 more years.
Except for a quarterback?
Oh, Phillip Rivers is ancient. He's got.
That's what I was gonna say,
at
dude.
30 years old, the quarterback.
You're saying 30 is old.
Right?
Phillip Rivers is almost pushing 40, dog.
That's not talking about freaking Tom Brady. Whew, that man's getting up there.
Dinosaur.
Oh my God, he was there. He was there during the freaking First Amendment. Jesus.
All right, so let's move on to the next team here. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to lead off with the quarterback here. We got the stash. He's primed up. It's Minshew Magic. I love this guy.
Minshew Mania.
Minshew Mania. I love him. Right? But I don't only love him because of his stash.
Damn.
I like what he does on the field as well. Last year, Minshew was thrusted into the starting lineup after they spent a bunch of money on Nick Foles. And he was a great rookie. In this whole time, in practice, he was getting second-team snaps with the second-team wide receiver core, meaning he wasn't getting any snaps with DJ Shark or D.D. Westbrook at all. His first snap with them was when he came into the lineup or when he went out onto the field. He's coming into season 2. He's got a lot more cohesion with Shark and D.D. now. He'll be a serviceable quarterback for your roster, as well as he has a lot of – I like his upside here too. His defense is terrible. The Jaguars are going to be terrible on defense, right? So the same reason I like Shark goes right into Gardner Minshew. He has a top 12 quarterback upside, and the Jags are going to have to throw the ball to win games. He's undrafted in most drafts, so you can get him for free, and he's going to be this guy that's virtually all upside for you. He's going to be – you're going to have to go to the waiver wire on certain matchups with him, but – he's going to come in. He's going to be nice for you. I mean, he had 3,000 yards passing last year on 21 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He finished as the quarterback 19 in PPR format. And I just see him getting better overall. He's coming into year 2. I mean, he's going to improve.
I definitely agree. For sure. Now that they have that connection with DJ Chark, it's going to be even more cohesion. I mean, last year was a good year, but this is going to be even better. And that stash is only going to get better. So, I mean, it's going to be an amazing year for him.
The stash is only going to get better.
The stash is going to get better for sure.
I like it. All right, let's jump into the running backs here, Joey.
Well, running back, first one, Leonard Fournette. Last year had 265 carries with over 1,100 yards, but only 3 TDs. That TD number I feel is a little low for Fournette, like really low. I don't feel like they were able to get much TDs to him last year. Hoping to see that number go up this year. But you're definitely going to see receptions dip because now they have Chris Thompson that followed Gruden over there. For a 1-year deal, but Chris Thompson is more going to be, that third down back as long as he stays healthy. I hope to see Fournette's TDs at least go up a lot more, just because, what you've seen, you can see what he's done in the previous years, and that 3 TDs is really low for him. That's not, in the norm. So hopefully this year they run the ball a little more to Fournette and he's able to up that TD number.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the 3 touchdowns is significantly low there. I do see you. I agree with you. The receptions are going to dip. Do you see it more of, say, Chris? Obviously, it's hypothetical because Chris Thompson's never healthy. But do you just see Fournette being, like a down 1-2 guy, and then it's Chris Thompson's on the field at third no matter what? I
mean, I hope we don't see that, to be honest with you. Just because, like you said, Chris Thompson is not healthy. If you look at Chris Thompson's stats, I think the guy has played 1 year to where he's played a full 16 games. Not really sure why they brought him over to the Jags. I don't know if it was Gruden, telling, depth, telling, following Gruden like that. I looked at Chris Thompson's stats and I don't see how much help they can be to the Jags, except for that third down, long to where they're gonna try to get it to him.
He's not much of a threat, honestly, on the ground, but really receiving, he kind of can be sometimes, but rushing is.
Well, that's assuming. I mean, that's assuming he's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's gonna be interesting to see. I know that Chris Thompson's going to take time away from Fournette, so that's going to kind of be a factor there. But, I mean, if Chris Thompson gets hurt in that time, he's taking away time from Fournette, I mean, that's going to be a no-brainer. Fournette's going to take all the time up, and then, you'll see those numbers go up. But, I don't know. It's very weird over there. Like, for me, I don't understand why they picked up Chris Thompson. You guys say for depth, but, like, what depth can the guy bring if he can't even play full 16 games?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just another guy to help the workload, I mean, you can't just have. There's not a single team that has one running back in the room,
Oh no, obviously I know that. It's just I don't know why they went in Chris Thompson.
Yeah,
what I mean? Like looking back at him, like I said, he doesn't seem that he can stay healthy, and it might just be, a Gruden favoritism type thing. We don't know. Yeah. But for running back wise, I mean, Fournette, I feel like Fournette's going to be getting a lot of the work. Obviously, that factor in there with Chris Thompson's going to be in there, but I wouldn't worry about it that much. I still think Fournette's going to kind of be the one getting more of the touches, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he will. He's going to get more, but do you see Fournette as matching his ADP or overproducing his ADP at all? Because, I mean, the guy's getting taken in what? He's getting taken third round. I mean, he's getting taken after Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders. Do you see him jumping into the top 12 of running backs? He's the 15th off the board now. Do you see that in the works for him? Or not really? You see him finishing where he's getting drafted?
It's tough to say because I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they have kind of an O-line problem over there, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna kind of depend on that too, because it's not like it's the whole thing of the matter is that the O-line has to produce so that Fournette can get in those open holes and actually, produce that yardage. You know what I mean? So saying that he's gonna go up to a top 12, I can't be certain. I can't be certain with the way that the offensive line looks. I would say if anything, I want to say he's probably going to stay where he's at. I want to see him go up 100%. Because I like Leonard Fournette, but it's gonna kind of depend on his O-line and how much work he's gonna see.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, 76 catches last year, that's going to dip down with Chris Thompson being there. So
exactly.
Yeah,
so
I can see that. All right, let's jump.
And then Chris Thompson, like I said, guy can't stay healthy. It's going to be interesting to see what they kind of do with him.
True enough. Let's jump into the tight end here for Jacksonville. We got Tyler Eifert coming into Jacksonville. Which would be nice if he's ever healthy. That's always been the question for Tyler Eifert since his tight end 6 finish in 2015. He won't be terrible if you decide to grab him for pure upside of helping you for a week here and there if you punted the tight end spot. But he's a guy I would look at on waiver wire to fill a spot if you had a bad tight end matchup that week. There's not much to say about Tyler Eifert besides he's just one of the most unhealthy tight ends in the league. He's always hurt, has back issues, ankle, whatever. Man's almost in a full body cast. I don't have anything else to say for Tyler Eifert. He has upside. That's it. And he's free in drafts. You guys have anything on him?
He's been a guy that's able to actually produce in the past, but now it's not looking too good.
2015 is a long time ago.
It's not looking too good for him now. So he's on the back end of his career. So I agree with you. If you need someone on the waiver wire because either having a bad week or your tight end went down with an injury, I mean, he's there to pick up. Why not? But definitely not a guy you start every single week for sure.
Good stuff. You want to take over for the wide receivers too now?
Yeah, I mean, I like talking, so I might as well just keep on going. So DJ Chark, he had a breakout year last year, boys. Rookie year, kind of a stinker. Last year, 73 receptions, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Big career numbers. Career high receptions, yards, and TDs, like I said. Could be a solid flex player for you guys. Does have a high ceiling since he's the only reliable wide receiver the Jags have. I do see him being hot the first part of the season, but he will regress towards the later end of it. Current ADP is in the 5th, which is a good deal for him and what can actually produce for your team. You guys have any questions about DJ for me?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
Would you be comfortable with DJ Chark as your wide receiver 1 on your roster? Since he's going in the 5th round and you decided, okay, I'm going RB.
Would I be comfortable with that? If I had to make that choice, sure. Would I want to make that choice? No. I would go RB, wide receiver, RB, wide receiver. If
Well, I'm saying like if
for my
you
draft
on
that's
your
what I
in
mean.
your draft in your spot, you're like, okay, I want to go running back, running back, running back. So 3
Uh-huh.
straight. So we'll say you do a 0 wide receiver draft strategy at that point. So
Yeah.
you come up to the 5th round, you see DJ Chark there. Do you take him
Yeah, obviously. There's a
before
no-brainer
Juju
about that.
Smith and Terry McLaurin?
I would. I do see more upside in him because Juju Smith is good as well, but and Terry McLaurin is good as well. We don't know exactly what they can be able to do, but I see DJ Chark being a better asset towards your team. I only see a bigger upside for him. Juju's already, we know what Juju can do. He's a good wide receiver, but I can possibly see DJ Chark actually surpassing him. If he actually gets the time, the reps, and it means you can throw him the ball, I can see him being a better wide receiver than Juju.
I agree. I like DJ Chark. He was the wide receiver 17 in PPR scoring format last year too. I see him outproducing his ADP by a lot. He's getting taken as a 24th wide receiver off the board. This guy has top 10 wide receiver upside in my book.
For sure.
I think he can
agree.
finish higher than Adam Thielen, higher than Amari Cooper, higher than Cooper Kupp, higher than Allen Robinson. He can be a wide receiver 1 on this team with how much they have to throw the ball.
He might even be a sleeper at the 5th round, honestly.
He's a great value. Like
He is.
you can't beat that, especially if you go, running back. You can go 3 running back, right? And then you could still end with, let me see here. He's in the 5th. You can end with, a Keenan Allen or an Odell Beckham, and then you can still have, or Robert Woods and DJ Chark. You can end with, or Tyler Lockett and DJ Chark. So,
That's amazing
that's
wide receiver
great
core
because you're
there.
going to have 2 stud running backs there, or 3 stud running backs, I'm sorry. And then you're also going to have a Lockett or Robert Woods and a DJ Chark.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I like his upside. He has a lot of upside for sure. But
Yeah.
only time is going to tell.
I need to get him on my team.
Good luck with that.
I don't have. I need him.
They're going to want a haul for that. All right, so they do have 2 other wide receivers. I'm not even going to cap. I can't even say this guy's name. I'm going to call him LS because I have no idea how to say his name. Laviska Shelanut. Am I saying that correct?
Chenault, I think.
I have no idea. He's a guy that's going to be splitting snaps with DJ and DD. So as a rookie, we'll have to see how he develops. Not too high on him considering who he's splitting time with, but he was a solid wide receiver at Colorado. Could have some upside in his career. But this year, I wouldn't even bother
LSU?
picking him up. No, it's Colorado, actually.
You sure?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
positive.
wow. You got me. I thought he was an LSU guy.
Finger bang. Got him. Boom, boom. Anyway, so, I mean, would I pick him up? Probably not. He's not even ranked on ADP at all. If you need someone just for a flyer for the week, possibly, depending on how he's doing with Gardner, maybe. But other
I
than
don't
that,
think so.
I
I'd
wouldn't.
rather have like Chris Conley as the flyer
I'd rather. I mean, that's up to personal opinion, honestly. We'll have
than
to go
LaVisca.
there.
I think it's LaVisca Chenault Jr.
Jeez,
Got it.
these names, man.
Did you
Jeez.
Google
I
that?
do like LSJ. LSJ sounds good, dude.
It almost sounds like I'm not going to say it.
Anyways, all right.
Um,
Are you have any more on the wide receivers, Bobby, or you got?
I did have Didi, so Didi for the past couple of years has been a solid 60 reception, 700-yard guy. He reminds me a little bit of a Landry kind of build as far as wide receiver is concerned, but at a much later round. He's good for a 5-point week to a 12-point week per game. Definitely not a start every single week, but if you're having a bye week or one of your guys are injured, you may want to look into picking him up.
More of a PPR kind of guy.
Exactly, for sure.
I wouldn't. If standard, I wouldn't touch him
No,
because he's not going to score.
Exactly.
Realistically.
Exactly.
All right, let's go ahead. We'll tackle up into the Texans now. We have Deshaun Watson coming at you. And Deshaun Watson has finished as a QB4 for the last 2 seasons. This man is a stud. But this year is going to be very different. He loses DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for the worst trade in the world I've ever seen. He gains a Brandon Cooks, which is nice to replace him. And I like Cooks this year because he's got Deshaun Watson throwing in the ball. I mean, Deshaun Watson you're going to get about 25 touchdowns with 4,000 passing yards. And then you're also going to have a really good rushing number baseline. And he's going to score a few times on the ground too himself. So, but the only thing I don't like about Deshaun Watson is he goes so high he's good. So if you want him, you got to take him in the middle of the 5th round, which to me, I steer clear of because I generally like to take a later round quarterback to fill my running backs and wide receivers in those early rounds. But yeah, that's about all I got.
I agree.
So I can go on to David Johnson here if you like.
Yeah, jump in.
I mean, David Johnson, his ADP is at the end of the 4th round. Personally, I feel like that's a little too high. I feel like there's a little bit of risk there with him going in that 4th round. He's coming from the Cardinals. He didn't get a full 16 games last year. From his work before, when he stays healthy, when he's able to get those 16 games in, he puts up numbers. I mean, he gets 258 carries for 940 yards, 7 TDs. With him, I feel like the Texans are going to maybe, I want to say, kind of try him out in a way. Because with the Texans running that kind of rushing offense, I mean, he does have promise this year, but it's just going to kind of be interesting to see what's going to happen with him. Because I know he said that he's excited, he's ready to compete and everything, but it's just his numbers from the Cardinals is what's kind of scaring me.
The health is what scares me.
And that too.
He's not healthy.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I don't even think Duke Johnson's gonna be in there to help either.
I think he'll get some catches. I think he'll be the reception.
Duke Johnson's more of a
third
down guy. Yeah.
I think Duke Johnson will have the 3rd down back role here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Johnson 1 and 2. Or they could do David Johnson as a 3-down guy too, because he's a great pass catcher as well. I mean, I don't really care for David Johnson, but say you went high on wide receivers early. I mean, he's a guy that is going to get work.
If he stays healthy.
If he's healthy, yeah. He's going to get work.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think his ADP is where it should be. I think he should be a little bit lower. I think maybe like 6 or 8.
I think 8's a little low. He's a starting running back.
I can see 6 though. I can see 6.
I could see 6.
See that.
But
Where I would like to see where we have him on our rankings, because I don't remember where we put him on our rankings. Let me pull this up real quick. So for our running back consensus rankings, we put him at, let me see, 22. We put David Johnson at 22, below LaShawn McCoy. So
yeah, we gotta adjust LaShawn McCoy though. We gotta adjust LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah,
I like Shady.
We kind of buried David Johnson.
I mean, David Johnson's the running back 22 off the board. So I guess we got him right where he would go.
Bam! We're good at this job.
So I guess we didn't bury him. You are going to have RB2s. I mean, I just don't see him getting a good rushing total. I do see him catching the ball quite a bit, even though Deshaun Watson doesn't really throw to the running back. So it's David Johnson's, in a sense, like a mystery because you have the injury aspect of him. You have the talent of him's there if he's healthy. And then he's just got risk built into him, which is why he's our 22nd running back ranked 27th or 22nd running back. Jesus, words are hard.
English is hard, man.
Can you talk today, dog? You got a little tongue twister there.
Yeah, it's all the Johnsons. David Johnson, Duke Johnson.
Dude, it literally is. Chris Thompson, just the similarities.
I thought it was a seltzer from last night. That's what I thought it was.
This was non-alcoholic seltzer, by the way, that I had.
What?
Yeah, it was
that's not American.
It was
not
fire,
American. And it's not American. It's like driving a V6 Camaro. Jeez.
Yeah, I wonder who does that, Bobby.
Wouldn't be me.
Bobby, don't you have a Camaro, dog?
Whoa! Don't put me out there.
Oh God.
He does. The V6 kind.
And then Pat, I mean, what do you got to say about Duke Johnson? I mean,
I like him. Duke
He's
Johnson's
tough.
tough, man, because he. I'm pulling where he's getting drafted right now, but Duke Johnson's a very late guy. He's getting picked up in the 11th round. I would take him because you're not getting past. Where is it? Jordan Howard is the 39th running back off the board going in the 8th round. Him and Matt Breida are back to backs. But with them being back to back, that's the last starting tandem of running backs on the board. So Duke Johnson, you'll be able to get a start or two out of him because if you predict like a very negative game script, it's hard because we're not seeing any preseason, so we're not seeing who's getting in on third down for that team. And that's the only time I see Duke Johnson shining in this team. Even though Duke Johnson's a really good football player, he just never gets a shot to be the guy. But that's all I really have on Duke. I mean, you're getting him late, so if you take the shot at him, you need a running back to build your depth a little bit, then I would take him over. Like Zach Moss, Justin Jackson, Boston Scott, Keyshawn Vaughn. Players like that is who I would take Duke Johnson over.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
that's about all I got.
Bobby, you want to hop into the wide receiver core of the Texans?
So, wide receivers. They're actually pretty stacked on there as well, just like the Colts are. You do have Will Fuller, the glass man himself. Really can never have a good, healthy season, unfortunately. He's a really good wide receiver, averages about 4 touchdowns, 550 yards with 35 receptions in his career. He's being taken in the 7th. I see that as being a little high, honestly, depending on his health, of course. I'd rather take McCall Hartman or even a Christian Kirk is being taken in the 7th round as well. Again, not high on Fuller. I see more of an upside for Brandon Cooks or Randall Cobb, who I'm going to go into now. Brandon Cooks had an off year last year due to some injury. I see him bouncing back and being a pretty consistent 1,000-yard receiver with about 6 TDs. Let's see. He's finished in the top 24 wide receivers for the last 5 years, which is actually pretty amazing to actually think about, being from Los Angeles. So I see him being their first target, and I see Randall Cobb being the second and Will Fuller being the third for this team.
I disagree. I see
Really?
Will Fuller as the second if he's on the field. But I do see – so Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller are going back-to-back in drafts nearly. Give me Brandon Cooks all day because Will Fuller is never healthy.
Exactly.
Guy's never played a full season in his entire career, I don't think.
No, he hasn't. And he puts up some monster numbers when he is healthy. That is the whole thing with Will Fuller. If he's healthy, then I'm taking him 1 every single day. Brandon Cooks 2, Randall Cobb 3. But with Will Fuller always being on the injury list, you can never take him. He's never reliable to be taken, honestly.
I mean, I think you can take him if you got to know what you're getting. You're not getting 16 games out of him.
Yeah, you're getting maybe.
You're probably not even getting 16 games out of Brandon Cooks either, but I feel like you have a higher probability to get 16 out of Brandon Cooks over Will Fuller. If that makes any sense.
It doesn't, because actually Brandon Cooks has played 4 16-game seasons in his career.
Okay, so it does make sense.
Yes, so that's why I'll take Brandon Cooks over Will Fuller. Randall Cobb, to me anyway, he's a second solid option for watching the throw too. Experts say he's on the decline. I have seen a couple of solid seasons from him if he can stay healthy. He's
a long time.
But you know what? He's always been consistent with receptions and yards, which might be tough for him to get along with with the side of Fuller and Cooks. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic since they have 3 really good wide receivers to work with. But as long as they can stay healthy, then these wide receivers are definitely going to be worth taking in my book.
Yeah, they paid Cobb some decent money to come into Houston, but I don't see Cobb as being a fantasy viable guy. He hasn't been fantasy viable in the last 5 years.
I mean, his numbers last year were not too bad, especially for how
they
old
weren't
he
terrible,
is.
but it's like
I mean, think about it this way as well. He played for Dallas, who has Amari Cooper, who have all these different wide receivers as well. So it was kind of hard for him to actually get the touches in last year. He did get 55 receptions, 800 yards, and 3 TDs for someone who is up there, and he's not going to win you a week, but if you need some solid numbers out of him, just consistent basis out of a flex, he could be there for a solid player for you.
I can see that. I see that.
So that's
Good
all
take.
I have.
I like that take.
That's all I have in the Texans.
All right, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do the oh my God, I'm blanking. The tight end for the Texans, Darren Fells. The guy that is giving you pretty much only touchdown upside. He doesn't catch a TD. You will not be happy at all. He's a waiver wire guy that can get you through in a pinch. But like I said, you're only happy if he scores. He's a guy that's free. I'm not taking him unless I absolutely need a tight end. But other than that, I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole.
I wouldn't either. He's not a guy that anybody should be taking right now. You have so many better options out there to take than him, for sure. I definitely agree with that take.
So, with that being said, we will jump into the Titans.
Wait. Don't you want to go? I mean, oh, my bad. My bad. I thought we were still doing. My bad. You're right. Woo, brain fart. Go on, Patrick. My bad.
What did you think was going on?
I thought we were already on the Titans. My bad. I was so hyped to talk about the Titans already. Let's go.
Ooh. All right, let's jump into the Titans here. We're going to open up with Ryan Tannehill. He took over from Mariota last year. He came out on fire. But as you saw in the playoffs, the recipe to win for them was not through Tannehill, but through Derrick Henry. Tannehill's game in the playoffs last year was don't mess up. And he didn't. I mean, 100-yard games here and there. Derrick Henry's just putting the team on its back, getting 300 rushing yards. I mean, it is what it is. You won the games. But Tannehill missed the first 5.5 games last season and still finished as the quarterback 22. But I don't see Tannehill doing what he did in the regular season last year. They found their recipe to win, and I think they're going to take care of business on the back of a Derrick Henry. His ADP is round 13, pick number 1. But he does have some upside with that. If you see if you get the Tannehill that was in the regular season last year, you'll be happy because he won some people some weeks last year. And then it kind of fell off and he was gone in the playoffs. So like last year, Tannehill came in from week 7 through 17. He was in between. Believe he averaged probably about 27 to 28 points a week, which is amazing. But
I don't see it happening again.
I don't see that happening either. I've seen what he did with Miami. He had one good season with Miami, and after that, what are you going to get? I think you're going to get game manager Tannehill because they know how to win with Derrick Henry, which is fine. It's just not good for you in fantasy.
No, he's not. He wouldn't be your starting quarterback. That's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, he'd be this guy that you have to move him around. You play the waiver wire with him because you went late quarterback.
That's the only way to work with him. I agree.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do the running back, Joey.
Well, obviously, like you already said, you got Derrick Henry. And, I mean, like you already said, the Titans discovered how to play their game last year. Give the ball to Derrick Henry and let him run. That's literally what they did. I mean, Derrick Henry came out last year with over 303 carries with over 1,500 yards and 16 TDs. I mean, I think that's pretty insane, to be honest. Oh,
boy.
But, this year, who knows? Those TDs might go down because of, and I hope I say his name right, Darrington Evans. It might go down because of that.
Sounds good to me.
Just because Darrington Evans is going to kind of be that handcuff for Derrick Henry. So I would say if you are drafting Derrick Henry, if you have that last pick and you don't really know who to get, I would pick up Evans. Because Evans is going to be that backup for Derrick Henry in case something happens to Derrick Henry. I feel like, personally, teams are going to know how the Titans are running that offense now. So I think they might stack it up maybe a little bit more against Henry because they know he's gonna be running that ball.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think Darrington Evans might be one of the bigger handcuffs in the league. Obviously you have like Latavius Murray, you have Tony Pollard, And then I think you also have Darrington Evan as one of those handcuffs that you have to have if you are the Derrick Henry owner just to save your season. And the best part about Evan is he's going last. Like, you can pick him with your last pick, and you didn't even have to spend anything on him. Like, Alexander Madison goes in like the 8th or 9th round, I believe. And that's a handcuff, you know? So you're getting your handcuff for free with Derrick Henry, which is nice. Derrick Henry's the 5th running back off the board here too. But
yeah, I mean, I think his ADP definitely went up from what he produced last year. I mean, I think it surprised everybody to see the Titans go to the playoffs and do what they did. I mean, there was many plays where we're all watching Derrick Henry and we're going, "Oh, that boy can go." That man was trucking people like it was no big deal.
For sure, that's what at 260 pounds at like 6'6" gets you.
Yeah, I really like the way they played in the playoffs. But like I said, teams are gonna know that's how they're running stuff. I mean, that's literally all they did during the playoffs was give the ball to Derrick Henry.
But the question is, can you stop it? That's the big question. Because
that's also a question. But you stop that by stacking the box a little more.
Yeah, but you can't do that because then you get beat through the air. I mean, you got to think about it. Their game plan here is going to be run, pass or play action. Run, play action. So you make the defense think that they're running the ball every play. You hit them with a play action, that's a score, especially with A.J. Brown over there.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I like Derrick Henry a lot this year. I think he's going to be great. You know, he's tied right now with Dalvin Cook ADP-wise. I'd probably rather have Dalvin Cook because Dalvin Cook is going to catch the ball as well, unlike Derrick Henry. So you go from there. I mean, Derrick Henry is going to be a stud. That's all you got to say.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Let's go ahead. I'll do the tight end real quick here. I don't really have much for him. Jonnu Smith. He's a tight end in this division that I actually can see breaking out. He will be on the field a lot with Delaney Walker gone, creeping into the average 80% snap count range. He'll be on the field, giving him a shot to get targets on this team, with the receiver core being lackluster at best. Other than A.J. Brown, that's the only guy worth throwing the ball to on this team. He's really the only deep threat. A.J. Brown's really only a deep threat, while Jonnu can be that PPR safety net for the Titans. You know, I could see him getting 4 to 6 targets a game, being the short passing option. With an ADP of round 12, pick 9, he can be the guy with nice upside and consistent work for your fantasy team. He's the only guy there.
That's about it.
He's the only team in this division that doesn't have, you know, a very good, like, their wide receiver core is not that good, you know? So they're going to have to find, very much like the Jets, they're going to have to find another option there to get the ball. And I think that they're going to do it with the tight end.
I agree. Good points.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, Bobby, go ahead. Let's bang out the wide receivers here.
All right. Well, really only one wide receiver, A.J. Brown. He's pretty much the only receiver they have, and there's little to no debate about that. He was a stud, 8 TDs and 1,000 yards last year. I do see him regressing a little this year. I do see Henry getting some more touches, and Tannehill having a 7.7 touchdown rate is going to go down as well. He's never had that in his career, so he's not going to have it this year as well. All of this will hurt Brown, but he's definitely going to be he definitely isn't going to be a non-factor. He has a high ceiling, only being in the second year of his career and being predicted to be taken in the 4th, which is a solid pick for a wide receiver of his caliber, for sure. The other wide receivers, Corey Davis, Adam Humphries, pretty much make up the wide receiver core, but they're more situational wide receivers who are good maybe for a couple 10-point games here and there.
Except for Corey Davis.
Yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown's their entire offense when it comes to wide receivers. That's just...
I agree. I mean, does the 52 catches worry you on 84 targets? Or do you see the targets and the receptions coming up a little bit?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. That's what worries me. He only was so good last year because of Tannehill's touchdown rate. That's the only reason why he was that good. Again, he's a speedy guy. He's gonna get you some touchdowns, but he's not going to be that PPR guy that's gonna just rack up points for you every single game.
I feel like he's relatable to like a Tyreek Hill,
Exactly.
that comes out and he's going to blow up on a week and he's going to get you, he can go out, catch 2 touchdowns, have 200 yards receiving, which is something that A.J. Brown's talent lies with.
I agree.
But you're also, with that good, you're going to see the 0.9 weeks in week 3 against Jacksonville, the 4-point weeks against Indiana. You're going to see the 3-point week against Buffalo, the 2-point week against Kansas City. You're going to get those duds that could lose you a week, but when he comes out
He's gonna come
fire
out
blazing, he
He's gonna
comes
come
out fire blazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if they're gonna double cover AJ Brown, then who's gonna get the ball? Derrick Henry. If they're gonna freaking stack the box to stop Derrick Henry, who's gonna get the ball? AJ Brown. So it really depends on the team they're playing, the situations that they're in. If they're trying to get that touchdown and just trying to bomb it deep, then AJ Brown's your man. Besides that, I don't really see what else he can really do for this team unless he can develop his route running, actually get some slants going, and actually get you some more yards and some more points per game.
I like it. But now, okay, I got a question about A.J. Brown.
Hit me.
Would you rather have Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, or OBJ?
Over him?
Yeah. Because A.J. Brown's an early pick.
He is. He is definitely an early pick, being taken in the 4th. First, wide receiver like that, I think he is worth it. But I would rather have a couple of other options. I would rather have OBJ. Give me the scenarios again. OBJ, who again?
OBJ, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf.
All right. I'd rather take OBJ and DK. I wouldn't take Keenan Allen over AJ Brown.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. How about
Again,
Tyler Lockett?
Tyler Lockett is going to be one of those guys again. AJ Brown, Tyler Lockett, very similar. They're going to haul in a lot of touchdowns, and that's pretty much about it. I still see AJ Brown being a better fit because in Seattle they
He's
do
the
have
only guy there.
exactly. Seattle they have a couple more weapons to work with, so that's
And I
why.
feel
DJ
like-
Chark. Last one. I'm sorry. DJ Chark, AJ Brown.
I mean, pretty much the same exact guy. That's the
No,
only
they're
wide receiver.
not.
That's the only wide receivers they have on the team.
Oh, no, that aspect.
In that aspect, it is. As far as their size goes and stuff like that, I guess DJ Chark would be a better option for me over AJ Brown. But that would be the only other comparison beside them is just their size and what they're actually able to do for
I
the team.
think I would take all those other guys I named over AJ Brown. I don't like him.
You don't like AJ Brown?
No, I don't like his baseline. I don't like what that team is trying to do. He costs too much. I can go get Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, DJ Chark, Juju Smith-Schuster, or Terry McLaurin literally a round and a half later than AJ Brown.
I understand where you're coming from 100%. I don't know. My thought is what I went back with Derrick Henry. If the teams are going to notice that the Titans are going to run the ball, that's going to, like you said, they're going to run a play action. They're going to run that play action play, and AJ Brown is probably going to be that guy that's going to be catching that play action play,
Yeah.
So
I see like a avenue for it. I just don't I see the end of the trail. I just don't see how he gets there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
He's
understand
the wide
where you're coming
receiver
from.
16th off the board, but I just don't see how he outdoes DJ Chark or Tyler Lockett or Robert Woods. Robert Woods is like a top 10 wide receiver every year. I just don't see that coming in.
I think AJ Brown has a lot to prove this year. Last year was his rookie season, so we're going to see what happens this year. Everybody's really high on him. So if he can produce and actually do more, which, again, I don't see being a possibility because of who his quarterback is. But if it's possible and he's able to produce the same or a little bit above that, then I think that next year he'll be taken a lot higher.
So in PPR format, you see him as a rank 21 wide receiver? A wide receiver 2?
For AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Honestly, I see more as a flex, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I'm saying like he'd finish as like a wide receiver 2 category, so like top 24. Or they
Yeah,
like his last year rank was 21 in PPR format.
yeah. I mean, I see him again regressing a little bit because Tannehill's not going to put up those same touchdown numbers, and he's not going to get the ball as much. But
Yeah, true, true.
I mean, you guys
Okay.
don't think that's that's what they're gonna do if like I've been saying, if they stack up against Henry, that AJ Brown, like you don't think Tannehill's gonna be throwing the ball to mainly AJ Brown?
I do. I just don't see him coming
You don't
down
see
with
them.
9 touchdowns again. I don't see him doing that on 80 target or not. Did he 85 targets with 50 catches? You
So
know.
you don't see them throwing the ball that like as much this year is what you're is
Yeah,
what
I
we're
don't
trying to
see.
say.
Well, I mean, he can be that guy that hits that efficiency level, but he's not efficient. You know, he's not the guy that's getting you 10 points a week, 12 points a week. He's the guy getting you, a 30-point week here, a 20 week here, a 3-point week here, a less than 1 point week here too. So it's to me in the fourth round, I'd rather have the other guys over him, is what I'm saying. I don't believe in that talent of him, or I don't believe in the talent to the situation. He's not on a high flying team. Like, say, if he was on, you know, come on, like Kansas City, for instance, like if he was Mecole Hardman or Tyreek Hill's other spot, like a Jason wide receiver, could see that. He's not, if he was in a higher pass volume offense, then I could see why he would be a fourth round pick to
Yeah.
somebody.
So it's mainly because of the fact of the team he's on, and we know that Tannehill might not be
The
throwing
play
that ball that
style of that
much.
team, I don't see him getting. I mean,
Being able to produce.
I see the avenue to where he can finish where he finished last year. I just don't see him getting any. He doesn't get you anything better. So why would I want to take a guy that I don't think can get me anything better when I can get someone that's going later than him that I do think can do better?
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I'm
I
saying?
understand. I
It
understand
just
where you're coming
to me
from.
it doesn't line up.
Yeah.
But
Well, on that note, do we have anything else on the Titans?
no, that's it. We're gonna go jump into the NFC side.
Yeah, I mean, I can start off with the Falcons.
Go ahead.
QB Matt Ryan. Mainly with this team, it's going to be all offense. It's literally going to be an all offensive game, because their defense is just not that good. I mean, Matt Ryan is going to have to throw the ball. I think he's going to get great numbers throwing the ball because he has all these weapons on his team that he can throw to. With his ADP going eighth, I feel like this year he might have an upside to go to a top 5 QB, possibly throwing for over 4,000 yards and maybe an upside of at least 30 TDs.
Oh, he's gonna throw over 4,000 yards, guaranteed.
I mean, do you guys have anything to say about Matt Ryan?
Not really. I mean, I think he does throw for over 4,000 yards because that's what he is, and that's how they're going to have to win ball games. They're not in a easy division. They're in a tough division where they're gonna have to put up points. You have to go against Tom Brady twice a year, Drew Brees twice a year. So for those 4 games, that's shootout time. And those should be high scoring fantasy point weeks. I don't have those. They're over unders, but they're generally high, like in the 40-point range, or 50-point range, which is nice because that's fantasy points are getting scored there. But other than that, I don't really have anything else for Matt Ryan. I think he's great. I think he's a great later round quarterback that you can get, and he's going to
Yeah, I
be an
mean,
every week starter for you.
yeah, I mean, and like I said before, this man has a lot of weapons that we can go into. I mean, he's got Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley,
Hayden Hurst.
Russell, Hayden Hurst. Like, he has people to throw to, so he's definitely gonna break that ceiling and actually possibly go up to, like I said, that top 5 QB next year.
I agree. You want to go ahead, Bobby, and take over into the running
The running
backs?
backs. So running back wise, I mean, of course, they have the beast Todd Gurley. He's going to be the workhorse for the Falcons. He's someone that can either run and catch the ball for you very well, put up solid numbers as long as he gets the touches, which I see him getting plenty of. His ADP is in the 5th, but I will stretch and get him in the 4th if he is there. He averages about 250 touches with 1,000 yards, 12 TDs, and catching about 40 balls and 3 TDs every year for his career. He is definitely someone who can win you a game, and I'm really high on Todd Gurley if he is there for you.
What do you think of him last year, receiving wise? Not even cracking what his norm was for the 2 previous years. Like, his target count wasn't even there. His receptions weren't even close. He was half. 31 receptions last year compared to the 60 he's had the last 2 years before that.
I think that has to do more along the lines of the quarterback.
A Jared Goff thing.
Yeah.
That's what I think too.
Goff wasn't his normal self as he was, the previous years. So, of course, Todd Gurley didn't get as many receptions as he's used to. I mean, this guy typically will put up about 400 receiving yards per year and about 3 or 4 touchdowns. Last year was definitely an off year for him, but now seeing who he has as a quarterback, Matty Ice, who's known for throwing the ball to his wide receivers or dunking down to the running backs. He's going to get a lot of touches, a lot of rushes. I see him being a really, really good fit for this team.
I do too. I think the knee thing is a little overblown.
I agree for sure.
From the last 2 seasons with the Rams. I think there was something with him and McVay, and I think that there was something else going on there to where Goff didn't trust throwing the ball to Todd Gurley because he was one of the top guys in routes ran.
Yeah,
he just didn't get any on 50 targets. He just didn't get the ball.
It just didn't make sense, and especially now, with this actually what's the word I'm looking for? The pandemic happening, he's able to recover a little bit more, working on himself a little bit more, and hopefully him and Matt Ryan can have that connection that Jared Goff had as well.
I agree. Hopefully it's better than the last year, but
I hope so, because this man will win you a game if it is possible.
Yeah, he can win you a week. I mean, I think you're getting Todd Gurley at a discount here.
Oh, for sure, not a doubt.
What'd you say? He's going in the 5th round?
He's going in the 4th. I'm sorry, my bad. He's going in the 5th, but I would stretch and get him at the 4th if I possibly could, because I'm that high on this guy.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't reach.
I would reach. I would reach. I mean, this is a starting running back on a very, very high octane offense. So that this man's going to get a lot of touches and a lot of receptions.
Mark Ingram or Todd Gurley?
Todd Gurley.
David Johnson, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
David Montgomery, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Devin
Singletary, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley.
That's tough.
I go Todd Gurley there too. I just went up there because Melvin Gordon's at the end of the 3rd. That's why I went to Melvin Gordon.
It's tough. It really is. I mean, okay. Let me ask you this: CMC or Todd Gurley?
Oh,
CMC.
That's stupid.
That's not even a second thought, dude. Like,
you gotta cut that. That was too dumb.
Oh no, you leave that in there.
No, I think we should leave that in there. That was funny.
It's stupid. Like, it makes it
exactly
recorded.
No, but that's fine. It's not. No one's gonna look at that and go, "Oh, that comment was stupid." No, it's just banter. It's not like it was bad. It was CMC
We'll
or
get back
whatever.
into it then. We'll get back into it.
All right.
Okay.
That's why.
So clearly, I would go CMC. Obviously, he's the number 1 running back off the board. But I see you're high on Todd Gurley. I mean, I'd rather take Todd Gurley over Melvin Gordon.
I mean, who wouldn't? Todd Gurley is a beast out there. Prove me otherwise.
He could be a league-winning player. I agree.
League-winning? Damn, look at you.
I mean, you're getting him. So you get him at his ADP. You're getting him in the 5th, and you're getting a guy who we are projecting, or who we're seeing as better than the RB19 off the board.
I mean, look at where
he has top 12 running back upside, no matter what.
I mean, look at where he went. Look at where he came from. Look at where he went. He went to the Falcons. Falcons have one of the good offenses on the league, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that, like, you got to see where he went.
More opportunities to score.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. All right, let's go ahead and get into tight ends, Joey.
Well, tight ends for the Falcons, Hayden Hurst, replacing Austin Hooper from last year, which Matt Ryan is known to love to throw to his tight ends. I mean, Hooper got 97 targets in last year and 88 in 2018. With Hayden Hurst, he is going late round as a tight end. So, I mean, if you decide that you go, hey, I'm going to wait to grab my tight end, that's fine, because Hayden Hurst should be available around the 9th round.
I agree. I like it. I like Hayden Hurst a lot this year. I see nothing but upside for the guy that you're virtually not having to spend that much on him either, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you decide, like, for the way I did my draft was I went running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. You know, I kind of waited to take my tight end, I think, around, I want to say the 8th round. 7th, 8th round, I think I waited. So at that point, now I don't believe I drafted Hayden Hurst because I think he was already gone. But if he was up there, I would have grabbed him.
Yeah, I mean, right now his ADP's 9th round. So I like it. I like the pickup. The only downside is he goes before Gesicki. So I don't know about that.
You know, it's going to be interesting. I'm sorry, but that's going to be interesting because I think, I mean, Gesicki, because we even argued about Gesicki being high on our rankings.
Yeah.
I want to see what the big hype is behind Gesicki.
I already know what it is.
And if it's not there, trust me, Patrick's going to be getting some heat this year for sure.
Oh, no, I know he will,
I'll
dude.
Take that. I'll take the heat. I'll take it. It don't matter.
I don't know. Just have your freaking oven mitts ready, boy. That's all I'm telling you.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into the wide receivers for the Falcons. Julio Jones, not much to say here. I like taking Julio as my second pick towards the end of a draft or towards the end of the round, depending on how my running back situation is. If I can leave with like a Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon and then snatch up Julio, I'm pretty happy about that. This is the latest you've gotten Julio in, the last few years. So, I mean, you're getting a guy who could finish as a number 1 wide receiver in the league. His wide receiver finishes 3, 4, 7, 6, 2, 6. Like, you have a guy who could be in the top 2, as long as, he's catching 99 balls a year on 160 targets a year almost. So, Julio, not much to say there.
I got a question for you, Pat.
Yeah.
Who'd you rather take, Julio or Michael Thomas?
Michael Thomas.
Why is that?
Because that's who I drafted. I knew that's where you were going with it.
Oh God, dude! Battery.
Realistically, though, you can't even compare them to each other because Michael Thomas goes within the first 5 picks. So you're not really making that decision over them, though. You're making that decision over like Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams. I feel that's more of the discussion there with that.
I like it. I was making sure we're in the same wavelength. So I'm just, you're doing a good job at your job. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
You got it.
We're going to jump into Calvin Ridley here. I see Calvin Ridley as a locked-in wide receiver 2. He's explosive and he can win you a week, but he does have his flaws, which he can go missing week to week while you started him. He's going in the 3rd round, pick 12, which is not a great value for him since you are getting him you're drafting him at his ceiling, but I love Ridley, but his price costs too much for me to draft him at his ceiling. Being the 13th wide receiver off the board, if he's going to be your wide receiver 3, then yes, I would take him. But if you're going to do the 0 RB approach, I'd rather have DJ Moore, a guy who's more consistent. Calvin Ridley's finishes are 27 and 22 in PPR formats, which just his value doesn't equate to the 13th wide receiver off the board. You know what I mean? Like, you can't draft a guy that's going to finish in the 20s that you drafted at 13 just because of upside.
I agree for sure.
And that's all I got for them. I'm not going to talk about Russell Gage because I don't see the point.
All right, so do you want to hop into the Panthers then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, start off Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's gonna be a serviceable QB to the Panthers' offense that's gonna be able to win you a week here and there. But with the Panthers not having a solid defense, again, it's gonna be a big offensive game for them. Now, I mean, they do have solid wide receivers to throw to. Great, amazing running back CMC. That can also catch the ball and run it, at the same, both in the same. So, I mean, if Bridgewater does get in trouble, I mean, he's able to dump off a pass to, McCaffrey if he needs to, or even, dump off a pass to someone like DJ Moore who can pretty much take it to the house.
And even Curtis Samuel as well. Both of those are really speedy wide receivers that are able to be elusive. So you're not going to see him passing the ball way too much, like downfield. He's never been that type of quarterback. More of a dink and dunker, but he could definitely put up some points if people catching the ball are actually able to catch the ball for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, with them losing Cam Newton, obviously they're not going to have, that type of running QB anymore.
Yeah.
On that offense. But, I mean, this guy has a lot of people to throw to. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, dude, I love the guy. I can't say how much I love Christian McCaffrey. I picked him up this year, obviously. But, I mean, with Christian McCaffrey there and all those other wide receivers, I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a problem. I think that, like I said, you're going to be able to see wins here and there in the week. I would think that you're going to have to more look at who they're going against during the weeks to see if you need to play Teddy Bridgewater.
He's a matchup guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go ahead and jump into the running back if we don't have anything else on Teddy.
My boy.
We're on the water. So, I mean, McCaffrey. What can you really say? I mean, he's that man. I mean, he is the Panthers' entire offense. His numbers are going to show it. No doubt he is an RB1. Not a doubt in my mind. I don't see any downside with him this year. He's going to be taken either first or second overall. He's a player on the board that if he is there, you take him no matter what. I don't see him regressing whatsoever. I mean,
really?
No, I don't.
You don't see a regression with a new head coach in there?
No, I don't.
All.
No, especially with Teddy Bridgewater being the quarterback. No, Teddy Bridgewater has always been known for dinking and dunking down his passes. So, if anything, I see maybe Christian getting a little more touches this year.
Really? I don't think he can get more.
He can. Surprisingly,
he can get more touches.
Yes, he can.
How do you figure?
Wait a second. I mean, I'm really high on
Christian McCaffrey. You think he can get more than 400?
Yes, because again, Cam
caught the ball 116 times last year.
I understand that. I get it. But their whole offense is going to be going around Christian McCaffrey and no one else. DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are amazing wide receivers, but they're not going to do as much as McCaffrey is going to do for this team.
I disagree. Well, I disagree to an extent. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is going to get the carries. He's going to get the yards. He's going to score touchdowns. He's going to catch his. He's going to get his, right? But I do see them as I see DJ Moore having a bigger role.
I don't.
Then what do you guys think?
I don't see it. I see him doing a lot more of the screen passes, and of course, getting points from that. He's going to be a situational wide receiver in the red zone. I can see him going up there, making a catch, doing, actually making a slant play, getting touchdowns, getting yards for sure. But McCaffrey is going to be their first option, and if those guys aren't open, if the wide receivers aren't open, he's going to be their second option as well. He's going to be their. He's going to be their. I know. It's weird. It's a weird option. Pretty much, if DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are not there, then he's going to be their only option.
Yeah, but you're forgetting Robbie Anderson as well.
I don't see him.
Robbie Anderson's not going to do anything for them. It's going to be DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. That's going to be their entire wide receiver. Tight ends, they really don't have anything for them. I'm going way too much into that. I'm supposed to be talking about McCaffrey only.
But we'll let Bobby or Joey come in and do the tight end then.
Well, tight end. I mean, Ian Thomas. I don't see Thomas being anything promising this year. with, I mean, great route runners like DJ Moore and CMC. I think they're going to be seeing a majority of the work, like we were just saying. I don't even think Ian Thomas is on the ADP. He's undrafted. I just don't see Thomas, like I said, getting many targets. If you need a tight end, I would not pick him up. I would steer clear of him.
Yeah, I don't like him. But with that being said, now, Bobby, we're about to get into this debate right here. We're going to jump into the wide receivers.
Because
oh, God.
I'm going to teach you something.
What you going to teach me here?
You're going to get the DJ Moore effect.
I know about some DJ Moore, but what you got for him?
Well,
I mean, before you get into it, hold on. Before you get into it, I'm going to say one piece, and then y'all can just debate however you want.
Go ahead.
I agree. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of take Bobby's side on this with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but you like keeping him in your pocket.
Well, obviously, I mean, because we all know that he's going to put up those points every week. There's not going to be a week to where he's going to, he might stagger because, like I said, it's going to be. I feel like the Panthers team is going to be all matchup based, but I still think he's going to be that guy. And that's all I'm saying about. And that's all I'm saying about the subject. You all debate.
Okay, so do not hear what I'm not saying. Okay, Christian McCaffrey is going to be amazing. I don't have an issue with Christian McCaffrey at all. I love the guy. But I do see DJ Moore having... My argument with Bobby is not that Christian McCaffrey is going to suck. My argument is that he's saying DJ Moore is going to suck, which is not going to happen.
I'm not saying he's going to suck. I'm not saying at all that
You
DJ Moore is going to suck.
You were saying you want Christian McCaffrey's the whole offense, and I disagree.
He is the whole offense, and that standpoint, DJ Moore is going to have standout moments in this season because I've seen it firsthand watching the games. He's an amazing wide receiver when he gets the ball in his hands. He reminds me of a Ted Ginn. Once he gets the ball in his hands,
better than Ted Ginn, bro.
But let me finish. He's a speedy, elusive wide receiver. That's how I see DJ Moore as being. So once he gets the ball in his hands, I see that he's going to actually make plays. As far as McCaffrey, I don't see him making another huge jump like he did last year. I see him being a little bit better, but that's going to be about it for McCaffrey. I'm saying
I don't see how he can get much better.
I don't see it either, but I have confidence.
I think it's either he stays the same or he dips a little bit. I don't see him getting better. I mean, the guy had 400 total touches, rushing and catching the ball. He had 1,000 yards in both.
Oh, I agree. It's amazing.
But let me get into my DJ Moore side real quick.
Go for it.
So DJ Moore's going in the 4th round, pick 3, which is an amazing value on DJ Moore. Giving you the chance to grab your early running backs and still getting a great route running wide receiver 1. The kid broke out last season. Now he gets Teddy Bridgewater in there, ditches out Kyle Allen, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to make those short, accurate throws to DJ Moore. I love DJ Moore this season, especially in PPR format. He finished at the wide receiver 16 last season with a terrible quarterback. He gets a better quarterback now. He will return great value for you. I am completely comfortable with DJ Moore being your wide receiver 1 if you decided to go and get your 2 or 3 stud running backs. He has top 10 upside. Now, with that being said, Christian McCaffrey is going to get his, but DJ Moore is too. DJ Moore, 1,100 yards last year receiving on 87 catches, only 135 targets. I see his targets going up to about 150, 160. I also see his catches going up because he's going to have a better core. He's going to get better targets. The ball is going to be placed better. It's going to be a better pass. I can see him catching 100 balls this year, and that bumps him up. He also has game breaker speed, which he can take a slant to the house at any given moment. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey catches the ball. You think it's a touchdown. You know what I mean? So I like both of the. I like Christian McCaffrey, but my argument there is that Christian McCaffrey is not the only piece of the offense on this team. DJ Moore is going to be great.
He is going to be great. I do agree with you with that. But as far as the offense goes, I think it's going to be 80% McCaffrey.
I don't see that though. I guess I don't know. I feel like we're arguing about sticks and stones, but I'm high on DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore. Like I said, I'm comfortable with him being your wide receiver 1 on your roster. The next wide receiver we got here in this lineup is Curtis Samuel, who's going at the 13th round. Is a guy I like to take towards the end of drafts because he is nothing but upside. He's a speedy receiver who can win you a week. With the defense not being good on this team, he does have solid wide receiver 3 upside and can be a good bye-week replacement guy. 2019, he finished as a wide receiver 3 at wide receiver 36. And that was with terrible Kyle Allen. So they're going to be down. They're going to have to throw the ball. That's why I don't see them rushing the ball that much or as much as they did last year. I see Christian McCaffrey, even if anything, growing higher on the receptions than he does on the carries. But we also don't know what this coach is going to do. We don't know what this coach's Matt Rule's entire idea of offense is in the NFL. So, with that being said, I mean, he's going to utilize Christian McCaffrey, but he's also going to have to utilize his receiver core too, because they are not going to be winning ball games. They're going to try to, but they're going to have to throw it. Leads me into Robbie Anderson, who's another speedy receiver, just like Samuel, but they both have the same opportunity to be a wide receiver 3 on your team. But I give it to Samuel. He's 2 rounds later, and I feel like Samuel has a better shot at finishing higher, especially with Robbie Anderson getting banged up here and there. And I'd just rather have Samuel over Robbie Anderson. He's later, and I think they are virtually the same guys. You guys have anything else to add into the wide receiver core here?
The only thing that kind of concerns me with Samuel is that he's dealing with a hamstring issue. So I am wondering how that's going to actually affect the season. I do agree they are essentially basically one and the same. They're basically the Spider-Man meme, if I had to say anything. So they are one and the same. But if Roby's actually healthy.
Are you saying Roby?
That's his name, Roby Anderson. It's not Robbie. It's Roby.
Oh my God! Here we go again, dude.
His name is Roby Anderson.
Whatever, dog. Just keep going.
All right, RB. If RB's healthy, I'm sorry, RA. My bad. I messed up the initials. If RA's healthy,
it's 100% Robbie, bro.
Look it up. Look it up, McAfee.
Oh my God, dude. Is this going to be a thing on our show to where we just argue about the pronunciation of names?
Oh, it's the best thing about the
show. It is. When I first heard him say it, I thought he was purposely messing it up, and then he did it the 3rd time. So I'm like, does he really think this is his name?
Roby.
Roby?
Look it up. Roby Anderson.
I guarantee you it's not Roby.
You guarantee me it also wasn't McAfee.
Oh my God!
You're like, bro, look it up. It's McAfee. They've said it on the podcast numerous amount of times. No, it's McCaffrey.
I'm gonna send you both back to school so you all can learn how to pronounce names.
Jeez. Okay, so going back to it, I agree. If I had to choose between either Curtis Samuel or, I'll say it for you, Patrick, Robbie Anderson, then I would go ahead and go with Robbie.
Roby.
You mean you'd go with Robbie over Curtis?
I would, yes.
Interesting.
It is
okay.
Interesting.
Let's go. I think what are we doing next? Saints?
Yeah, we got the Saints. First of all, that boy Drew Brees. You know what you're getting with him. I mean, I think Drew Brees is great. But if you look at their running back scoring last year, that rate was a lot lower than their norm. With the Saints, their offense usually finishes around top 10 for rushing touchdowns. But last year they did drop to 28th. This year I see that number going back up. With Drew Brees being there, and I don't know. I think if you have to take Drew Brees, I would say take him. If he's on the board and you need a QB at that time, take him. I mean, you know what you're getting with him. He's going to get you the points every week. He's got a lot of weapons to throw to as well. So there's no risk in taking Drew Brees.
I agree. I like it a lot. I do think his numbers are going to dip down compared to last year a little bit because I think that rushing touchdown total is going to come back up. But other than that, I think you're still getting a great fantasy player. I mean, he's last year he finished. He didn't even have that great of a finish last year, but he also missed games last year. And he finished as the quarterback 21. He missed what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games last year, and then came in and tore it up. So you're getting a top 10 quarterback regardless. He's only finished outside of the top 10 last year, which he missed 5 games. And every year since 2009, he has been in the top 10. And he's mostly been in the top 6.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, like you said, I also agree with you about the numbers dipping. Just because
Well,
Alvin
actually, I changed
Kamara-
my mind.
change your
I
mind about
changed my
what?
mind.
About his numbers
I
dipping?
forgot about him missing those 5 weeks. So I do see his numbers, I do see his touchdown total coming down, is what I'm saying.
His throwing touchdown total. Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say because I mean Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray is there, and like you said, or like we said, that team mainly is a rushing touchdown team, and we didn't see those numbers last year, so I think we're gonna see those numbers this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because I'm looking at his overall stats, I see 32, 23, 37, 32. I mean, last year he threw 27, missed 5 games. So I think Drew Brees is locked and loaded. You don't have to worry about him. You start him, you forget him. That's it.
Nice.
You
Yeah,
want to
buddy.
hop into the running backs at this point?
Yeah, let's get
Let's
it,
hop
Bobby.
into it. So, talking about running backs, of course, you have the man, Alvin Kamara, a clear threat in the backfield for the Saints. He's topped 25 PPR in 14 of his last 45 career games, which is amazing for a running back. He did play with a tear in his knee since week 6 of last year, but he did play through the entire season. So hopefully, with extra time off, he has more time to recover, and he'll be the stud that he used to be back in the day in 2018. He's an absolute beast when healthy, and I do see this being another great year for him, catching and running the ball for the Saints as well.
I couldn't agree more. I do see him bouncing back to what his norm was. I mean, it's Alvin Kamara, a
Can't
beast.
go wrong with it.
Beast.
Going to Latavius, I do like him. He's a solid flex player. He'll be getting some touches, but as much as I do like him, I wouldn't depend on him to win you a game. He did have 2 games last year when Kamara went down with his injury, where he actually did show some flashes. But in the wild card, he was kind of like Casper out there. He wasn't seen, wasn't heard. No one knew what was going on with him. I mean, honestly, it's the truth. He is a handcuff though for Alvin. So if you're going to pick up Alvin, you got to pick up Latavius as well. It's a pretty smart decision. He's projected to be taken in the 9th, which is a little high to me. If he's if he's on your draft board in the 11th or 12th, I would take him there. But beyond that, he's just not too high for me.
What if you're the Kamara owner? When do you take him?
If I am the Kamara owner, then I guess you have
You
to
take him in the 8th?
8th or 9th if he's there. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to. But other than that, if you're not the Kamara owner, then I wouldn't take Latavius.
Interesting. Okay. We'll go ahead and do the tight ends, Joey.
All right. Well, the tight end over there is Jared Cook. Great TD upside here. I mean, finishing as a tight end 7 in 2018 and a tight end 5 in 2019. He reeled in 9 TDs with 705 yards and 43 catches and 65 targets. Cook is the 9th tight end coming off the board in the 8th round, which is something I like later round tight ends because he gives you a good baseline as well.
I like it.
I like it too. I mean, the tight end, the touchdown upside's there, to where he can go and win you a week. And if the touchdowns are flowing his way like they were last year, he can be that guy that can almost win you. If it's like you can get a top 5 guy, at the tight end position, which is super scarce. But you guys have anything else on Jared Cook?
No, I mean,
Cook?
Bobby, you got anything?
No, nothing.
All right, let's get those wide receivers in. We have Michael Thomas opening it up. The average amount of targets per season in his career is 150 targets per season. He's a locked and loaded wide receiver 1. I would take him as the first wide receiver off the board, which is average draft position. I believe he is. His finishes are wide receiver or PPR 1, 6, 7. Caught 150 balls last year, which is ridiculous. Broke the record for receptions in a season. And 1,700 yards receiving with 9 scores. Ridiculous. I love him. I think he's going to be great. There's no risk with Michael Thomas at all. I think he disappeared a couple games last year, but that was it. He's very, very consistent wide receiver. Let's jump into Emmanuel Sanders. He's got a little more to talk about here. Emmanuel Sanders is a great wide receiver 2 addition to this team. His ADP is 8th round, pick 9, which is a great value for a guy who hasn't finished lower than wide receiver 30 in 6 seasons, other than in 2017 where he's the wide receiver 60. His finishes going in reverse time, starting with 2019, was wide receiver 30, 23, 60, 20, 19, 5. So, I mean, you're getting a guy super late that has good upside to get you the points you'll need. I mean, he's been a wide receiver 2 here, wide receiver 2 here, wide receiver 2 here. So you're getting good value on the guy that's going in the 8th round compared to like a Calvin Ridley or something, to where, I mean, this guy's probably not going to win you a week, but he's going to give you a consistent baseline of wide receiver 2 number finish. You guys have anything else on Emmanuel Sanders? I don't really have much left.
No, I think that's about it.
Nothing on him. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Breaking news on a Sunday at 12:30. We have the Ravens release Earl Thomas. Ooh. I mean, it's not very fantasy football related, but that's our first breaking news. So
hey, it's some kind of news that we have during the show. So
I can't believe
we got to do it. All right, let's go jump into Tampa to wrap up our divisional breakdowns.
Oh, yikes. Well, Tampa here. Tom Brady coming back to be the Bucs starter. I mean, Tom Brady is gaining a lot better wide receivers than he had in the past 6 years. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, I think will be amazing. Tom Brady's not going to be doing the game manager role, and he can still take over games. I feel like with the offense not going to be too great. Tom Brady's going to want to show more that he's more than a system QB, and he's going to want to tear it up this year.
I agree. Well, I like the wide receivers here, and you can't like the wide receivers without liking Tom Brady in this situation.
Yeah, and I think when we all heard that he was going to Tampa, I think that surprised all of us.
Yeah. For sure.
I think it was a surprise throughout the league.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I don't think
Definitely
anyone knew that was going to happen. I think we all thought that Brady was going to retire after this year, and that was going to be it. But getting drafted or getting taken by Tampa, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yes, sir. It's going to be crazy. You have anything on Tom Brady, Bobby?
No, I mean, I just think he has a lot to prove this year. You know, being not really cut by the Pats, but seeing how the whole thing went down with some bad blood. That first game back against the Pats, it's going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to watch that.
I'm interested for that.
Let's go ahead and tackle up the running backs here, Bobby.
All right, the running back. So Ronald Jones, as Bruce Arians said, is quote unquote the main guy. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more of him this year with touches. He had a decent season last year, 724 yards, 6 TDs, 31 receptions, and 310 yards last season. Being taken in the 7th round, which for a starting running back is a really, really plus upside. He's going really late, so if he's there, definitely take him. The other running backs, I don't see a factor being at all this season. Coach BA, me and him are on talking in terms of Bruce Arians, so I call him Coach BA. Said that Jones and Shady and Dare, they'll be splitting time. So that all depends on the obvious passing situation. And unless Jones goes down with an injury, he's going to be the main part of their backfield. I mean, that's really all can be said about their running backs.
Yeah, I'm rising on Ronald Jones.
He's gonna be a stud. I think
he can be. I think he's going to be very, very serviceable for your team. I am cooling down on LaShawn McCoy. I don't think LaShawn McCoy is going to get the work that I originally thought. After I was rewatching Kansas City Kansas City highlights with LaShawn McCoy. He missed a lot of time over there, free time to where he was healthy, and I think he's burnt. I don't think he's got it anymore. I think he has nothing left in the tank. I think he's added on there for $1 million as a depth piece, just in case anything happened to Ronald Jones or Keyshawn Vaughn. I do like Ronald Jones a little more. He's one of those later starting running backs that you can get to where if you went wide receiver heavy early, you are still getting a guy who's going to get some touches and get some work. In this situation, though, I do feel that opportunity is winning over talent because I don't care for Ronald Jones' talent, but he has the opportunity, so there's going to be points scored there.
I agree. I definitely agree.
We have anything else on the running backs, guys, or is that it?
No, I mean, to kind of go back to what you were saying, I was actually really keen on LaShawn McCoy myself, but seeing what's actually happening with the offense, honestly, I might just drop him and try and pick up another running back because he's not going to have pretty much any touches this year, and he's just going to be riding the bench, taking up a spot. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, I don't see him getting work here, but let's go ahead.
Yeah. You want to hop into the tight ends?
Let's do it.
Yeah, sir. Hit that double banger.
Well, dude, oh boy, you got Gronk coming back. Gronk is coming out of retirement to go back with his boy Tom Brady. But you got to remember, you're not getting the Gronk from 3 years ago. They just might use him as a red zone hunter, but he's definitely going to be splitting time with OJ Howard. I see more of Howard getting work between the 20s and then them switching out Howard to bring in Gronk to get the touchdown. Because, Gronk's a big dude. He's a strong dude, too. So, I mean, when they need to get in that goal line, Gronk is able to, punch it in there. He's able to run people over and get it in there. Even, catch the ball over people's heads because the dude's so tall. So, but that's pretty much all he's going to be useful for. He's not going to be useful for anything else, I don't think.
So, fantasy-wise, I don't think you're happy with Gronk unless he catches a touchdown there.
Exactly.
And, I mean, the only upside with Gronk there is that he has upside to catch a couple of touchdowns in a game. But is the upside possibility of Gronk worth a 9th pick? Or, yeah, your 9th pick? I guess, yeah, I could say that. I'd rather have Gronk over OJ Howard. But really? Because of the touchdown upside, yeah, because I don't see OJ Howard catching the ball a lot either. I mean, you got Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin. I don't see them throwing. No,
I feel like it's gonna be like I said. I think they're just gonna use Gronk for the red zone. He's gonna be able to run those people over when he needs to. And I mean, Tom Brady is comfortable with him at that goal line too. That's also another thing you got to think about. He's getting someone that he's really comfortable with. So you got to think that's the only thing he can really do. So if you need a tight end and you're kind of struggling, grab Gronk because he's going to be getting those touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other guys I'd rather have that have a little better baseline.
If there's nobody else, let me add that in there. If there's nobody else that you can grab and you're kind of struggling.
I mean, I don't want you guys to come out, see Rob Gronkowski on the tight end list when you're doing your draft and be like, oh, I got a bona fide star super late. You didn't. No. Unless he catches 15 touchdowns. Because his yardage
we don't even know if he will.
Which I'm pretty sure he's not catching 15 touchdowns.
There's no way.
But no way. With that, we can go ahead, jump into these wide receivers here. We have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the best wide receiver tandem in the league. they finally get a little more competent quarterback at center. I mean, Jameis Winston threw the ball quite a bit, but you also weren't getting great passing or you weren't getting great passes to you. So you're going to get a little better. You're going to get better. What is it? I'm looking better looks, I guess.
Yeah.
But the ball, you're going to get a more valuable ball thrown to you than what Jameis was throwing to you. Mike Evans last season had 118 targets with 67 catches, which I'd like to see the norm of, 75 come back up to that, which ultimately would be very nice. I mean, his yards per catch were 17 yards, which is crazy. Then you have Chris Godwin here, who scored 9 touchdowns last year. He had 120 targets, so they're right around the same amount of targets, but he did have about 20 more catches last year. With that, I do like Mike Evans more. I think Mike Evans comes up. He gets probably about 86 catches this year, or mid 80 catches, and he's going to score a couple more times in the end zone, and his yardage is going to be up a little bit. I like Mike Evans over Chris Godwin.
Even with Mike Evans actually having, he caught the ball 67 times, but he's targeted 118 times. So you still like him over him?
Yeah.
Over Godwin?
You got to look at it. I'm trading 2 more targets. That's all you're trading. Chris Godwin finished as a number 2 wide receiver, but I think Mike Evans comes up, and I think the mean is going to come. They're going to come up closer. I'm not saying Mike Evans is going to go finish at number 2 and then Chris Godwin finishes at 20. Not at all. They're going to both be in the top 10. I think Mike Evans maybe finishes at 8 and Chris Godwin finishes at 6 or at 9, or vice versa. So they're not going to be far apart. You pretty much get which one you want. I think Mike Evans I like Mike Evans more. I think Mike Evans is going to catch the ball a little more this year. So I think his fantasy finish is going to be a little higher.
Yeah, I agree. The only reason why I honestly agree with that is because Mike Evans is a little bit of a beefier wide receiver than Chris Godwin is. So he's going to actually go up there and catch those passes a lot more than Chris Godwin could.
Yeah, he's a little more of a deeper threat kind of guy too. So, you're getting a higher point target
of completion.
Or more valuable target.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I agree. Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page here.
I'm not going to go into their wide receiver 3s because they're undrafted and they're useless. So, that's pretty much it to wrap up the show here, guys. Which one would you guys go, Mike Evans or Chris Godwin?
I'd go Mike Evans.
I'd probably go Mike Evans too.
And I guess we're all in agreement here. Mike Evans is a stud. Alrighty, thank you guys. We appreciate you for tuning in. And Joey, go ahead.
Don't forget, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcast, we're on YouTube. All of it's under Fantasy Football Podcast or Fantasy Football Tactics Podcast. So go on YouTube, subscribe. We have our podcast videos coming out at the same time if you can't listen on Spotify or Apple. We even have a page on Facebook if you guys want to go like that as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Deuces.